ultra-hard, cold-rolled stainless steel alloy that we've developed. We're going to be using the same alloy in the Starship rocket.
Right now, some people who are angry about the changes Elon Musk is making in the federal government are taking out their frustrations on his company, Tesla.
Some Tesla owners are receiving backlash.
I never thought driving a Tesla could actually get you hated. But lately, that's exactly what's happening. Not because of Elon Musk's latest post or political drama, but because of the car itself. In the UK, things just took a wild turn. The government didn't just reject the Tesla Cybertruck, they banned it completely. One was even pulled over and seized right off the road by police in Manchester. At first, I thought, okay, maybe it's some technicality. But the more I looked into it, the more insane it got. Why would a country block one of the most hyped electric vehicles in the world? Is this really about safety, or is something bigger happening behind the scenes? In this video, I'm diving into all of it. The shocking reasons behind the UK's decision, Elon Musk's reaction, and what this could mean for the future of the Cybertruck, not just in Britain, but across all of Europe. Let's get into it. It all started with what looked like a routine traffic stop in Manchester. Police noticed something off. A massive, matte black Tesla Cybertruck rolling through the streets, a vehicle that's not even supposed to be in the UK. Turns out, the driver was a UK resident, but the truck had been registered abroad. Maybe they thought that would be enough to sneak around the country's strict road laws. Spoiler, it wasn't. Officers pulled the driver over, confirmed the Cybertruck was illegal to operate, and didn't hesitate. They seized it right then and there, citing Section 165 of the Road Traffic Act. And no, this wasn't just a paperwork issue or some registration delay. This was the UK making a statement loud and clear. The Cybertruck isn't just unwelcome, it's officially banned. Now here's where it gets even crazier. That Cybertruck wasn't just missing a sticker or an inspection, it lacked something called a certificate of conformity. And without that, it's game over. This certificate is a mandatory document in Europe. It proves a vehicle meets all the safety, environmental, and technical standards required to be driven legally. No matter how cool or futuristic a car looks, if it doesn't have this, it's automatically banned from the road. And the Cybertruck? It didn't even come close. Even if the driver had gotten it fully insured, fully registered, even if every document was perfectly in place, it still wouldn't have mattered. The UK had already made it clear, the Cybertruck doesn't meet the standards. Full stop. Tesla's reputation, Elon Musk's name, the hype, none of that made a difference. The message from UK authorities was simple. Rules are rules, and not even Tesla gets a pass. So what exactly makes the Cybertruck too dangerous for UK roads? It's not just about emissions or tech, it's the design itself. And honestly, once I looked into it, I could see why regulators were so alarmed. The first red flag? That sharp, angular exoskeleton. It looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, futuristic, bold, and undeniably aggressive. But here's the problem. Those rigid stainless steel panels aren't just strong. They're dangerously unforgiving. Unlike traditional cars that are built with rounded edges and crumple zones to absorb impact, the Cybertruck is basically a giant metal wedge. In a crash, it doesn't bend or absorb force, it delivers it. Hard. And that's a nightmare scenario for pedestrians, cyclists, or anyone in a smaller vehicle. Imagine being hit by a tank that doesn't crumple, it just transfers all that energy straight into whatever it hits. That's not just a safety concern, it's a deal breaker for UK regulators. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that logic when lives are at stake. And if the design wasn't enough to get it banned, just wait until you hear about the weight. The Cybertruck tips the scales at over 6,800 pounds. That's more than 3,100 kilograms, and for most British drivers, that's a serious problem. Why? Because in the UK, a standard Category B driver's license only allows you to operate vehicles up to 3,500 kilograms. Once you go over that limit, even by a little, you're stepping into commercial territory. That means you'd need a special Category C1 license, the kind typically required to drive delivery trucks or small lorries. And let's be honest, who's going to get a commercial license just to take their personal vehicle to the grocery store? So even if the Cybertruck somehow passed safety tests, the average person still wouldn't be legally allowed to drive it on UK roads. It's not just too sharp, too rigid, or too unconventional, it's literally too heavy for the law. And just when you think it can't get more complicated, here comes the tech. The Cybertruck might be packed with cutting-edge features, but some of them actually make it illegal in the UK. Let's start with the steering. The Cybertruck uses something called steer-by-wire. Sounds cool, right? Instead of a physical link between the steering wheel and the wheels, it uses electronic signals to control direction. But here's the catch. UK safety regulations require a manual inspection of the steering system for approval, and since there's no physical mechanism to inspect, there's no way to test it under current law. That alone is a major red flag, but it doesn't stop there. The lighting system also breaks the rules. That sleek, full-width LED light bar might look straight out of Blade Runner, but it fails to meet the UK's strict headlight requirements. British regulations specify everything: positioning, brightness levels, even the separation of main and secondary lights. The Cybertruck's single light strip doesn't check any of those boxes, and when you start stacking these violations together, it becomes clear this isn't something Tesla can fix with a few tweaks. Retrofitting the Cybertruck to meet UK standards would take a total redesign, and right now, that's not something Tesla seems willing to do. At this point, you might be wondering, how is the Cybertruck legal in the US but banned in the UK? It all comes down to how each region defines safety. In the United States, safety testing is mainly focused on the people inside the vehicle. Agencies like the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, run crash tests to see how well a car protects its occupants in a collision. And in that regard, the Cybertruck performs incredibly well. It's built like a tank, rigid, heavy, and durable. In a crash, it holds up, reducing injuries for the driver and passengers. But across the pond, the rules are different. UK and European regulations take a broader view of safety. It's not just about protecting the person inside the car, it's about minimizing harm to everyone on the road. That means prioritizing things like pedestrian safety, cyclist protection, and how a vehicle behaves in a crash with smaller, more vulnerable road users. And that's exactly where the Cybertruck falls apart. Its body doesn't crumple, it crushes. The rigid stainless steel exterior is designed to resist deformation, which might sound impressive until you realize that in the UK, vehicles are supposed to absorb impact, not transfer it. When the Cybertruck hits something, all that force goes straight into whatever's in its path. For pedestrians or drivers of smaller cars, that's a terrifying risk. So while the US praises the Cybertruck as an unstoppable fortress, the UK sees it as an unstoppable threat. Same vehicle, completely different priorities, and in Europe, that difference is enough to get it banned. Now here's the twist. Elon Musk saw this coming. Way back in 2020, long before the UK ever seized a single Cybertruck, Musk was already hinting at trouble ahead. When asked whether the Cybertruck would be available in Europe, his answer was blunt. Tesla would need to make a smaller version to meet European regulations. He didn't dodge the issue. He didn't pretend it would pass as is. He flat out admitted that the original Cybertruck was too big, too heavy, and too bold for the European market. And yet, Tesla moved forward anyway. They pushed the full-sized US version into production, knowing it would never be approved in places like the UK. It wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. Tesla bet big on the American market and made a vehicle that broke the mold, even if that meant breaking away from global standards. So when the UK banned it, it wasn't a surprise. Not to regulators, not to analysts, and definitely not to Musk. He knew exactly what he was doing. So where does Tesla go from here? Could they redesign the Cybertruck to meet UK and EU standards? Technically, yes. They could round off the sharp edges, rework the lighting system, maybe even shave down the weight to fit within license limits. But here's the thing. That's just not Tesla's style. Elon Musk didn't build the Cybertruck to fit in. He built it to stand out. This truck was always meant to be a bold, unapologetic statement, not something watered down to meet international red tape. And re-engineering it for one region? That would take serious time, money, and a major shift in direction, especially when they're already struggling to keep up with US demand. Realistically, Tesla's probably not going to bother. Instead, the Cybertruck might stay exactly what it is: a US-only beast, a symbol of American automotive rebellion, something you'll never legally see cruising the streets of London or Berlin, not because Tesla can't make it happen, but because they simply won't. For Tesla, Europe might just have to sit this one out. At the end of the day, the Cybertruck ban isn't just about safety features or road laws, it's the result of two very different worlds crashing into each other. On one side, you have Tesla, pushing boundaries, breaking molds, and designing a vehicle that looks like it belongs in the next century. On the other, you've got the UK and Europe, where regulations focus on collective safety, not just what protects the person behind the wheel. And honestly, neither side is completely wrong. Some say the UK is being overly strict, killing innovation in the name of red tape. Others argue Tesla went too far, ignoring basic safety standards in favor of shock value and spectacle. But one thing's for sure, if the Cybertruck is the future of driving, that future's going to look very different depending on where in the world you are. So what do you think? Should the UK ease up and embrace the bold direction Tesla's heading? Or was banning the Cybertruck the right call to keep roads safer for everyone? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear where you stand. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into the tech, cars, and controversies shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.